we have news. So, we are going to be parents. It is an incredible news. It's been a difficult journey. So, we have been trying to have a baby for pretty much 5 years now. We've done IVF, we've done tried natural. We've had ups, we've had downs, we've had challenges. So yeah, we feel in a really fortunate position, and we are not taking it for granted. And it is wonderful news. As I said, it's been a very tumultuous sort of 4 or 5 years to get to this point. We're both a bit older. We're both 41. So we appreciate that we're classed as geriatrics, but we don't feel like geriatrics. And we are going to be having a little boy at the end of June. So my training is probably going to change. Not the priority, by the way, but just, this is a running vlog. So I am obviously banking on Paris as being kind of my last big training block that I'll be able to do without disruption for a little while. That's not to say I won't be able to continue running and training and things, but I think this is basically my sole focus at the moment. And obviously once that's out of the way, Claire will be around about 30 weeks, and we will then be in full-on baby mode until the baby is born. So that is our news. It's amazing news. We are absolutely delighted. We are still taking nothing for granted, and it is going to mean a big change in our lifestyles, but one that I'm sure will be for the better. Anyway, so as you can probably see, I'm sat in shorts and a t-shirt, so I'm not in the UK. So let's rewind to how we got here. Where are we going?
Further, 'cause I've reached my destination. I used to be lost, but now I'm found. As long as I know that you'll be around, I don't have to keep on searching. I'm right where I wanna be. I used to be so sad, now I'm glad I found something I never had, and I'm ready. Yeah, yeah. This time I'm going all in.
Good afternoon, happy Saturday from Tenerife. So, we are here on a little baby moon, as I think I might have already told you. So, Claire, my wife, is just over 25 weeks pregnant, and our life is about to change. So we are here having a little bit of a last break in the sunshine to try and make the most of it, but that does not stop the training. So we landed about 3 hours ago, something like that. But got our bearings, and now I'm out on a very, very gentle shakeout run before a long, long run tomorrow. Now, you might be able to hear it's still pretty windy, like it's warm. I think it's sort of 22, 23 degrees, but there's a fair old wind. So I'm not sure how that's going to work tomorrow in terms of the long run. It sort of doesn't feel like a headwind at the moment, which is good. But yeah, the gusts are definitely a little off-putting. So we are staying in the
Costa Adeje, La Caleta area of Tenerife, which is sort of the south. We came to somewhere near Playa Paraíso a couple of years ago, and yeah, we're here for a good break actually, so hopefully we should be able to get some sunshine. I did have a few wines on the plane though, so not feeling in absolutely tip-top shape, but hopefully this will sweat it out my system. Rude not to though, I'm on holiday, but I am still planning on doing a couple of big mileage weeks whilst I'm here. So that is run number 1 in Tenerife done, and that was hard. Certainly did just over 5k, but wind, hills, heat, not a fantastic mix. But at least I've kind of done a shakeout and I know what to expect because I've got a long run tomorrow. I just need to make sure that I don't like talk myself out of it, because yeah, that was pretty tough, and I only did 5k. Tomorrow I've got to do 30. Get me talking in metric. So yeah, I'm going to try and get out early to avoid the heat, but I'm not sure there's an awful lot I can do about the wind or the hills, so let's see. Right, 32k, 1k warm-up, 30k at around about 90% marathon pace, so 7 minute 20 per mile, 4 minute 30 per k, 1 minute cool down. It's already 16 degrees Celsius here in Tenerife and it's going to get warmer, so wish me luck. So I've just started my run. I'm just come out of the hotel in La Caleta, so basically the same route that I did yesterday, but I just carry on and keep going. So it's a bit of a out and back a couple of times to fit the mileage in, but the temperature is lovely so far this morning. Even though it says it's 16 degrees, it actually feels pretty cool. There's a nice breeze. If it could just stay like this for the next sort of 2.5 hours, that would be marvellous. I'm just at a place called Playa La Pinta, and so I've done about 2.5 miles, so about 4k. But I am also very aware, looking at the route, that at about 5k, 15k and 25k, there is quite a significant elevation or hill, I don't know what it is. But yeah, I've got that to look forward to in about a k's time. So we'll see how bad it is when we get there. I just got so lost. I didn't think it'd even be possible to get lost just following the coastal path along, but I did. I managed in some sort of car park and had to ask some Irish guy where he was going. To be fair, he was lost as well, so it wasn't just me. Hopefully, I think I've done the hill, which actually wasn't too bad. So I'm hoping it'll be fairly flat now. And I'm running down to Los Cristianos and then back down to Los Cristianos again. So all in all, hopefully, according to my Strava maps, it's around about 32k, but I guess we'll wait and see. I haven't really been able to get into any kind of rhythm or pace yet, because it's quite twisty-turny, quite up and down the steps. I don't really know where I'm going, so like I was aiming to average around about 7 minute 20 per mile. And whilst I'm doing that now, I'm 3.5 miles in, and I certainly haven't been running that pace for the most part. So yeah, this run might not be exactly as planned, but to be fair, as long as I can be there or thereabouts and I can get the distance in, that's sort of the main thing for today. So it's about 8 AM here, so I've been going for just over half an hour, and there are still people out from the night before. I've seen a few groups of, I don't want to call them youths, because that makes you sound really old, doesn't it? But youths who are clearly have had a nice time and are on their way home, or yeah, fair play to them. And this is one of the amazing things about running in a place you've got no idea where you are. You find places like this So I'm just approaching halfway. I've changed the route slightly actually, because this sort of last section of the promenade is a lot flatter and a lot easier to get a rhythm. So I'm going to try and do a couple of like double backs on myself to do as much of this as I can, because I'm in quite a nice rhythm at the moment, running around about 7:10 to 7:20 a mile. My heart rate is low zone 3, so feeling comfortable. Also because it's still quite early, the sun's quite low in the sky, so as you can see, like it's quite shaded still. So yeah, I admit, you know, it's only halfway, but I feel alright so far. Right, final stretch. We're at 13.5 miles, so it's about 22k-ish. And I've now got probably around about 11k to get back. Hoping to keep the average pace around about 7:20 again, but I know those last 5k are gonna be tough because it's quite up and down. Let's see. So that is 15 miles, 24k in pretty much bang on an hour 50. So around about 8k to go there, about 9k. This is where the real hard work starts. Gotta keep the pace up. Hope my legs don't tire too much. Run done. So just over 20 miles, so 32k-ish. I was feeling really good until probably about mile 18 or about 30k. And yeah, the sun had come up, it was getting warmer, I was running out of liquid. I probably hadn't fueled quite enough. And yeah, I sort of those last 2 miles were a bit of a slog, which is a little bit disappointing because actually, like, for the most part, it was actually a really good run up till then. And yeah, finishing at 20 with 6 miles to go, not even running marathon pace. You always kind of have your doubts, don't you, when you're only 4 weeks out, but I've got to remember that it's warm. It was quite undulating in parts, although my Paris isn't flat by any means. There's a big hill at 35k, I believe. Yeah, but look, it's done, and I sort of managed to stick to the plan of in and around 7:10 to 7:20 per mile, so about 90% marathon pace, pretty much the entire way, other than a bit of a difficulty at the start and at the end. But yeah, the middle block was what I wanted to do and what I wanted to achieve. So, right, it is about 10 a.m. now. I'm going to go back, have a quick shower, and then go and eat all the breakfast.
Are you going to be warm enough during the It's a great t-shirt. I went down and got
So there we go, 56 miles for the week, around about 90k I think in the end. Great week, lots of positives. Obviously a little bit disappointed with my long run just towards the end because I felt so strong going into that last sort of 10k, 6.5 miles, but I just think the hills, the heat, the wind, etc. just got to me a little bit, but I can't be too despondent. It was a really good session other than that, and yeah, put 56 miles into another chunky week. Obviously I'm here in Tenerife for another week now. Weather is good for the first part of the week, and then it is just going to be a bit stormy. So unfortunately, towards the back end of the week, it is going to be a bit miserable. Maybe that's not a bad thing from a running perspective, not a great thing from a holiday perspective, but you know, yin and yang. So I'm going to try and do upwards of 60 miles. So I'm going to try and touch 100k next week. And I think that is going to be my big week because I've got the time to do it. I'm not at work. If it's raining, there's not really much else to do here. So I might as well use that time effectively to try and get some decent mileage in, mix my sessions up. I'm in very much in marathon specific phase now. So I'm trying to do as much as I can in and around sort of 90% marathon pace, 110% marathon pace, just making my body and letting it feel what it's like to be running that sort of speed consistently. Obviously I've been practicing my fueling, so I took a few gels on my Sunday long run, albeit not as many as I probably should have done. But I'm also here to have a good time. Don't get me wrong, like I'm not going to be living like a monk whilst we're here. I'll be having a few drinks. I won't be limiting what I'm eating, but I am trying to balance things because we are now 4 weeks away from Paris. So like I said, I'm here for another week, and then I will taper with 2 weeks to go. But look, trajectory is still good. I banked 4 20-mile runs, I think, and I'm planning on doing another one next weekend. So that'll be 5 20-mile runs. I'll have run up 6, maybe 7 50-plus mile weeks. So from that perspective, this is not a bad block at all. I ran a PB, so look, the signs are good, but you just never know. You just never know. Anyway, right, so 4 weeks to Paris Marathon, 1 more week in Tenerife. Let's hope it's a good one, big mileage, and then we will see what happens. All right, see you next week.